Welcome to the Healthy Living Doesn't Have to Suck podcast. I'm your host, Melyssa with the Y. Join me for conversations about creating mindset and behavior changes that build a healthier, happier you. Let's drop the struggle and say hello to healthy living made easy, entertaining, and empowering. What is going on, change makers, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I wanted to talk a bit more about body image and the issues that we might face when it comes to our relationship to ourselves. Oh man, this is one that, again, comes up over and over and over, but I had to kind of share my experience because hopefully some of y'all will relate to it and be able to take away some value from this story. But I don't know about you, shopping stresses me the fuck out now because you never know what kind of size you're going to get. Even though there's lots of numbers, you never know if the same two numbers from one brand are going to match in another brand. Sometimes they're size too big, sometimes they're size too small. Like women's clothing as a whole, it absolutely makes no sense most of the time. So when it comes to having to get new clothes, that's something that always gives me quite a bit of anxiety because you never know what you're going to end up with. And if you battle the negative self-talk, I know I've shared that that's still something I work on. It's gotten a lot better over the years, but man, I tell you, when it rears its ugly head, it is no fun. So that being said, I wanted to share my experience of how I've started trying to reframe the shopping process, especially if you're in a position like me, like maybe you're the biggest size that you've ever been before, and that feels super uncomfortable. And for someone like me, it brings up a lot of feelings of disappointment and guilt and shame because I have a lot of imposter syndrome considering that I'm in the health and well-being space. And I feel like there's still a struggle that I experience with my body, mostly about how I perceive my body, like functionally and healthfully. I'm pretty good to go. I mean, there's a couple things that I'd like to improve, but for the most part, my body does an amazing job helping me live the life that I want. I would like to have more energy. I would like to lose a little bit of abdominal fat just for health purposes, because that is actually much more of an indicator of future health complications is your what's called visceral fat in the stomach or the fat around the stomach area. So with that, I know that there's some inches that I would like to shed, but overall and in general, my body allows me to do a lot of the things that I love in my life. And I know I've shared before that I used to teach virtual fitness classes. I used to teach in-person fitness classes. And ever since COVID, that kind of started dropping off. I mean, virtual, I was going for a while, and then I just had a job that totally burnt me to a crisp. And so I stopped. I started gaining some weight. I started losing some muscular strength, and I just became very self-conscious in front of the camera, especially when it came to teaching fitness classes. However, lately I have noticed that I haven't been having fun in my life. And that's not to say that I'm not having times that are enjoyable, but there are just times where I'm like, I really miss having fun. And what do I do? Like what did I used to do where I would have fun? And teaching was one of them because you just blast the music, you have a good time, you're moving your body. So this is all to say that I am slowly but surely going to be getting started back to teaching in the Changemaker Collective, which is the membership program that I mentioned a few episodes ago. It is going to have a grand relaunch in July. So I'm very excited to get that back up and running and to be able to expand it even more and have some opportunities for virtual fitness classes and getting together with my change makers on hopefully a weekly basis. And I'm sharing that here. So that way it's public and it's holding me accountable, to be quite honest, because as I'm working through these body image issues of my own and trying to pull out all the tricks that I know, I am still very much in a place where I got bruised pretty badly from that comment from the coach that I shared, about BMI and what's your ideal weight and all of that just really kind of fucked me up in the head for a while. And so I'm still recovering from that. I use the term bruised, not broken, mostly because there's a really catchy song that's called Bruised, Not Broken. So I highly recommend looking it up. But anyway, I'm going off on tangents because this is still pretty uncomfortable for me to talk about. So that's the nervous chatter kind of starting, but it all comes together to say today I had another brand shoot with Jo. So shout out Branding by Jo. She is absolutely a magician with her camera and knowing how to pose you. And I invested in working with her because she was offering a quarterly subscription for branding photos. And I was like, you know what, Melyssa, our theme for 2023 was level up, and investing in this type of service and this type of product for yourself, because the digital photos are the product, it's a game changer. So the reason why I was so excited about this subscription service was because she has it all set up. You get the hair and makeup done. So shout out Beautified by Becca. You get styling done virtually with Andrea from Styled by Golden Iris. So shout out to my design team. I don't know what to call the design team. No, that sounds like interior design. My styling team, my my hype, I'll just call them my hype squad. So my branding hype squad. Every time that I do one of these shoots, it helps me to get out of a little bit of that funk, right? It gives me a nice little refresh in feeling confident in myself and getting excited about the photos. It's so much fun shooting the photos there we go. It's fun. So today I had fun. And so I miss that kind of experience. And I was having fun while I was in front of a camera. So that just goes to show that it really depends on how much you get stuck on those thoughts, like how much power you're giving to those thoughts, the negative self-talk, the inner critic voice, like all of that, because you can kind of set that off to the side and still be able to do what you love, to still do what you enjoy, and not let that inner voice ruin that good time for you. We're going to take just a quick break to give a big shout out to our very first podcast sponsor. And if y'all have read my book, then you know how much of a fan I am of Not Only Pants. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Not Only Pants. Not Only Pants is a woman-owned small business by founder and CEO Monica, who found herself with a spinal cord injury and had to learn how to live in her body again. Her desire to feel comfortable and confident in her body led her to the creation of Not Only Pants, with the mission of showing every woman she deserves a pair of leggings that make her look and feel incredible. From sizes small to 5XL, Not Only Pants has created body-inclusive products to be loved by women of all different ages, shapes, and sizes. From leggings to capris to shorts and everything else in their store, every product is a labor of love and teamwork. For our listeners, you can use the code CHANGEMAKER, all one word, to save 20% off your order at www.notonlypants.com. So all of that to say, I am really excited to actually get back to teaching fitness classes. I realize how much I've been getting in my own way and how much I've been stuck on stupid things that make me feel worse about myself. For the longest time, I didn't want to get a new pair of jeans because I felt like that was admitting defeat or like giving up on trying to get healthier because I was going up a pant size. Y'all, that is such fucking bullshit. Like, get clothes that you feel comfortable in. Otherwise, you're going to feel like a stuffed sausage. And how is that going to make you feel any better? Oh, let me tell you, there's been many times, this is a repeating pattern for me, y'all. So I am still in the process of working on healing all of that crap that shows up, because I remember like the lowest points in my life have been times where like my pants have busted in some capacity because I was so stubborn that I wasn't going to go up a size. And I was like forcing myself uncomfortably into these pants. And I remember there was one time that I like ripped the belt loop off because I was like trying to jimmy the jeans on so much that I was like hopping into them and pulling up on the belt loops. And then I ripped one of the belt loops off because I was having to struggle so hard to get into that fucking pair of jeans. And that is just not the way to live life. Another time that I can think of is when oh gosh, this was actually kind of recently. And recent like within the last year, but I had a pair of work pants. So like actual pants. I had to put real pants on and go work at this event. It was one time that I was like going to the bathroom and I like go to zip down my pants and they're already unzipped. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I forget to like zip up my fly last time? No, the zipper busted. The zipper was busted because the pants were too tight. So it literally like split the zipper seam. Oh my gosh, I was mortified. Luckily, that day I had on a long enough shirt that it would cover the zipper. But good Lord, if that wasn't a time where I just like wanted to cry my eyes out, oh, so embarrassing. But nobody saw. It was only me. Like it was all in my head. I made it out to be a much bigger deal than it needed to be. And so, in the instance of this photo shoot, I had pants that I could have used, but I was like, Melyssa, just get yourself some new pants. Like, spend the extra dollars, get clothes that are going to make you feel good, that are going to make you feel better about your body right now, because that's going to be part of the healing process. Acceptance. I say it in the book. Acceptance does not mean approval, but you have to accept where you're at in order to start making progress. So there we go. I'm still living the lessons that I taught in the book over and over again. I should probably just start recording the audiobook so that way I can reread the book myself. So spoiler alert, that's a plan for 2024. 2023 is like way too much. There's too much going on. But an audiobook is on the horizon. So that's exciting. But anyway, all of that to say, if you're in a place where you're feeling not the greatest about yourself, there are things that you can do to feel better, to just give you a little boost. Sometimes it's going to be catching the negative thoughts and working to change them. Sometimes that is going to be just allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to buy the bigger size clothes. So that way you feel more comfortable and more confident in your body, and you're not like anxious like I am that the zipper is going to bust or I'm going to lose a belt loop because those things have happened to me before. Oh man. So there's not really, I don't know, I guess that's an educate kind of section of this podcast. Empower, I mean, I don't really know. I think it would just be go back to healthy living doesn't have to suck. Look in the chapter about body confidence and acceptance and work through those exercises, y'all. I mean, they're there for a reason, because in order to make significant change and transformation in our lives, we have to work on our relationship to ourselves. And if we are constantly trying to fight and battle to change our bodies, that's not going to work in the long run. And we want to be able to make this an enjoyable journey. And if you're beating yourself up over the way that you look or over the way that you feel, that doesn't sound very enjoyable at all. So I know I'm needing to practice what I'm preaching here. And that's one of the reasons why I'm grateful to have this kind of platform, is just to even talk through this and share this with y'all too, because I'm at a pretty low point with my own body image and self-esteem, and really having to put into practice the self-compassion, the acceptance techniques, and showing up confidently, even when I don't feel like it. And that is one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Russ Harris. He says, "The actions of confidence come first. The feelings of confidence may or may not come later." So really, you just have to show up confidently. And that was something, that kind of happened for me today. I was a little bit nervous for this brand shoot just because, again, I feel bigger. I am bigger size wise. And my stylist was having me wear a crop top, y'all, like a slight crop top. That's what this shirt that I'm wearing right now. But I was terrified. But once I put it on, I was like, all right, Melyssa, we got this. Like, my stylist knew what she was doing. So trust the professionals, and maybe that's something you invest in. Like, get someone on your team who is going to be able to find those types of clothes that are going to be best suited for your body, because every body is different. Some styles are going to look great on you, others maybe not so much. Maybe they're suited for a different body type, and that's okay. But really focusing on accepting where you're starting from, even if it feels further back than ever before, then that's your new starting point. And you're just going to have to focus on taking one step at a time to focus on finding that direction that you want to go. What is the path that you want to take? Ooh, I think we're in Empower now. I'm all over the place for this episode. I would love to ask you, when was the last time that you felt comfortable and confident in your body? What was the time in your life where you felt the most you? And like, this is going to be taking like a good hard look in the mirror, but also admitting to yourself, maybe it wasn't when you looked your best, but when was it that you felt your best? Because I will be the first to admit, when I looked my best, like when I was the slimmest and I felt the strongest, I was not doing the healthiest stuff. I'm going to be real, y'all. It was not good. So all of that to say is that sometimes it's not about how you look, but it's about how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your life and your choices. So that I will say is our Empower section. So then for Engage, what are some ways that you can start doing things that are going to help you to feel better, to help you feel more comfortable and confident in your body? Do you need to buy some bigger clothes sizes? Do you need to consult with a stylist? Do you need to just take the scary action to book a photo shoot and just start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable in front of a camera? I don't know what it looks like for you, but those are just some examples of things that I've done in the past. So hopefully that's helpful. Anyway, y'all, that's going to do it for today's episode. I know that was a whirlwind and we were all over the place together, but thank you for hanging in there with me. And as always, change makers, until next time, take care, stay healthy, and be well. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Healthy Living Doesn't Have to Suck. I'm so grateful to have you here with us, joining our change maker movement. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you'd subscribe and rate and review this show wherever you're tuning in and listening. It helps more people discover the show and grows our community of change makers. Please connect with us on social media and follow us on Instagram at Healthy Living Doesn't Have to Suck for some behind the scenes looks, bonus content, and updates on new episodes. And don't forget to grab your copy of the book on Amazon. Thanks again, change makers, and I can't wait for you to tune in next week.